Any happy news from you guys? I've just been bitching for half an hour.
I fell down a rabbit hole last night.
Of?
The Michael Jackson music video for Black and White. Have you ever seen it in its entirety?
Probably when I was 8.
Yeah.
You should, okay, after this, just watch it. I'll send you the link for it because there's 2 versions. You got to watch the full version. It is the most manic fucking thing I've ever seen. And
What
I've
do you
watched
mean?
Bonnie Taylor's fucking
Bright Eyes.
fucking Bright Eyes.
Turn around.
So it literally starts off, you know, it's typical Michael Jackson in the sense that like it starts off without like the music first, but there's like a 4-minute intro scene of like Norm from Cheers just trying to watch the game, but his son, that rascal Macaulay Culkin, won't keep the fucking noise down. So he goes up and he yells at him, and then when he yells at him, a Michael Jackson sign falls off the door because dad shuts it, and Macaulay Culkin's like, hey, fuck you, dad. So he goes and sets up these giant stereos, and he's like, hey, dad, get ready to die. And he hits this fucking riff, and it launches Norm into like the stratosphere. I'm not even joking. He literally... He launches off into space, and then his mom is like, man, your dad's gonna be pretty mad when he gets back. And then he lands in Africa, and Michael Jackson is already performing the song when he lands with like a bunch of like tribal men and lions. But then when he gets to the chorus, suddenly he's surrounded by cowboys and Indians, and he's not singing. It's just doing the typical like music part, but there's like gunshots and shit going off, and it's fucking wild. And then he's in Russia, and then there's these 2 babies that are as big as the planet, but they explode, and he tears through the explosion. And he's like coming at the screen, and he's like doing his fucking like, I am afraid of no man, you know, like he's doing that part. But then it gets to the rap part, and I was like, oh, what's this rap gonna be? And sure enough, it's Macaulay Culkin doing the rap. And Macaulay Culkin's the one that's all like, I'm not gonna be afraid of being a color. Like, Macaulay Culkin is doing that. So then...
The whitest person to ever white.
Yes. And then it's a whole bunch of like, it's like 16 different people are like dancing and nodding their head, and they turn into another race.
Oh yeah, I saw that part. It's like like an animal.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then eventually the video ends, and you're like, oh, okay, the song ends. But then there's 7 more minutes of video left.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, what the fuck? So it shows it in a studio, and they're like, oh man, that's great shooting, guys. And everyone's like acting like, you know, it's like they're doing it in the studio. But then there's a leopard, like a black leopard, and the leopard sneaks off, and it goes into this stairwell, and it goes down into this fucking like New York alleyway somehow. And then in a very anamorph situation here, the leopard turns into Michael Jackson. So then he gets up and he fucking pulls his hat down, and he starts dancing silently.
Wait, was it a panther?
Oh yeah, it's a panther. It's a black panther. My bad.
My God.
Well, so whatever. But regardless, that's what you're fucking stuck on. So regardless, he starts dancing, but silently. Like, all you can hear are like his feet going, and like occasionally like he'll like scream, but they mix a scream with a roar, and then like he keeps dancing more, and then you just see his feet shuffling around, and he's just dancing, and all you hear is the dancing, and then like he just starts destroying shit. He like comes up to a car, and he takes like a crowbar, and he knocks all the windows out of the fucking car.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah.
Then he takes like something, and he throws it through a building.
He like Beyonce's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then he like starts tearing his shirt apart and screaming.
Yeah, I
and
remember
then
that part.
a sign falls down, and then off a building, he turns back into a panther, and then the music starts back up again 6 minutes after it ended. And then the camera zooms out, but it zooms out of a TV, but the TV looks very familiar because it's The Simpsons. And suddenly Bart Simpson is on his fucking couch dancing, and Homer Simpson's like, turn off that racket. And then Bart's like, hey man, chill. And then fucking Homer takes the remote and turns it off, and the video ends.
So if I didn't know that this existed, I would have sworn you were describing a fever dream.
We're here here for a mini-sode, and this week's going to be special because even though this is going to be our typical mini-sode, we want to remind you all that this coming Wednesday for our full episode, it's going to be a special spooky, scary skeletons Halloween episode. So instead of going through our typical things, we're gonna do some stories that we've researched from different areas around the country, with like different like urban legends and myths and things like that, and just something fun and different for this coming Wednesday. Very festive for Halloween.
Yeah, because Halloween is the best time of the year.
It's the best and only holiday that matters.
It's all right.
It's gonna last literally 3 months for me. I don't give a shit.
Yep. So
don't ruin this for me, AJ.
Your friend, two spooky bitches, AJ. Get over it.
Before we go into Sushie's Minisode extravaganza here, I did want to tell a very quick little story that happened to us yesterday.
Okay.
It felt very good Minisode story. So we had to go to the store yesterday. And
oh yeah.
we went to Walmart of all places. Now we don't typically go to Walmart. We avoid it like the plague.
Yes, because it is the plague.
But we literally only went there to see if we could get some like cheap little like Halloween decorations. We wanted to see what kind of that's the only reason we went there was specifically to see what they had, just so we could like try to be a little more festive, you know?
Yeah.
I'll allow it this time.
Yeah. So it's okay.
Literally last resort for anything ever.
Yeah. We do not go to Walmart. So. But we're like, well, let's see what we can get. Now, while we're there, we're like, oh shit, we do need hand sanitizer because I keep a thing of hand sanitizer in my car. So every time we get back in the car, sanitize our hands, do the whole deal. Keep wearing your masks, everybody. We're still in a fucking pandemic.
Yeah.
But so we're getting low, so we're like, oh, we should probably grab some. We walk by like these really giant, like novelty-ly large ones. And we're like, well,
like a gallon?
Yeah. We probably don't need that big one because I keep it in like the door handle.
Yeah, I was literally like, what about these? They're only like $2.
Yeah. So like, we're walking and like we and Sam grabs another one, like a normal sized bottle.
Yeah. It was on an end cap.
Yeah. And it was like just kind of back by the electronics area. It's a little thing. She's like, oh, okay, because like that shit's everywhere right now because everybody's trying to get hand sanitizer. Yeah. So she grabs that and. We do our thing. We go through the store. They didn't really have much for Halloween stuff.
Carrying it around the entire store.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Big fucking surprise. Halloween shit was not that great there.
Yeah.
So.
Disappointed.
We picked up Crash 4 to mend our wounds. But as we're leaving, we're going back outside. Like all the Walmarts here now, they all have like the self scanners, and not like the typical like there's like one self checkout. Like almost all of the checkouts are self checkouts now.
I've never seen it before, like anything like this in my life. It's literally like almost a block.
It's like 20. There's about 20 of them, and
like a full block of just checkout. Like
like there's like stations. 20 double-sided aisles.
I feel about self-checkouts, and it is what it is. If I don't use them because I don't work there, I need you to do the job that you're paid for. I want you to check me out. I don't want to do it for me. And like that's just how I feel about it. I don't use self-checkout.
I love how bougie Sushie
it's
gets.
Bougie. I know, it's bougie. It's very bougie. Someone's paid to do that, but I don't want to do it.
But that is how I feel about buffets. If I'm going out to eat,
no, I don't go to buffets.
If I'm going out, this is why like I don't get super excited about Korean barbecue like all of you guys do, because I'm not paying like $60 a head to cook my own fucking dinner.
There are Korean barbecues where they cook it for you, though, and those are the ones I go to.
I mean,
never been to that one.
So I guess I don't mind that part because, like, while I'm not a big fan of the buffets, the Korean barbecue cooking yourself, it's kind of like just a experience. Like you're dedicating a night to hanging out with friends and shit. Like that's the whole point of it. So like, it's whatever. Like that's the cooking, the barbecue part is kind of just like on the side, just kind of doing it as you talk. But back to the story.
Well, I agree with Sam though. Like I don't love when I have to cook it myself.
Yeah. So. Tangent into a tangent, back to the story.
Okay, sorry.
So we check out, and we're walking outside, and Sam goes ahead and opens up the fucking hand sanitizer, which I thought was a little weird because we still had some in the car anyway that wasn't fully drained, but she went ahead and opened it and was like, whatever. So she squirts it into my hands, and I'm like, I go to rub them together, and I'm immediately like, oh no. And I'd already fucking rubbed my hands together, and I'm looking, and I'm like, Sam, this is fucking soap.
And I look at the label, and sure enough, it's fucking soap.
It's just
soap.
In a clear, but it's clear soap in a clear bottle, like in the typical hand sanitizer bottle.
Hand sanitizer.
It looks exactly like it. The label is exactly like it.
Medicinal, yeah.
Some bullshit like Walmart brand bullshit soap. And we're sitting there, and we have no water to clean our hands.
We're literally walking to the car like this.
Yeah, like our hands out in front of us. And I'm like, what do we do? Like, and you try to I had some paper towels in the car. I'm like trying to rub it off, but it doesn't really come off. And so we use the hand sanitizer in the car and hoping that alcohol will get through it.
At one point, he had his keys in his pocket.
Yeah, I have my fucking keys in my pocket.
I had his keys in his pocket, and he's desperately trying to wiggle them out with just the tip of his finger.
Soap all over his jeans and shit.
So, we're trying to clean it off with hand sanitizer that's in the car. And that's so basically, don't go to Walmart. This is just another reation to not go to Walmart.
As we were sitting in the car in this soap hand sanitizer debacle cleaning our hands, there was an open parking spot in front of us, and all of a sudden what drives by is this old ass man in an electric wheelchair with a giant racing flag on the back of him, zooming across, and I was like, see, this is why you don't go to fucking Walmart.
Before that it was even better, because we're sitting there and there's the empty spot, and a woman whips into the spot in her fucking shitty little Mustang.
Oh, her Dodge.
Yeah, or Dodge. Yeah, her shitty little Dodge. And she comes out just looking like a hot mess. And we're like, oh, that looks... Because she almost hit the van that was parked there. We're like, oh, that makes sense. So we're sitting there looking at this fucking hot mess of a woman.
It's just like a train wreck after train.
Yeah, clambering out of her car. And then immediately after that is the fucking guy on the wheelchair.
Literally got yelled at by one of the workers while we were there.
Yeah. Because, this fucking bitch, I'm like, hey, Crash is on sale. Let's just fucking grab this real quick. And, you have to go get somebody to get it out for you. And there's one guy who's working at the phone area in the fucking electronics or whatever. And he's already helping customer. And he's going back and forth, getting these shitty prepaid phones, because that's the only phones that are being sold at a Walmart anyway. And this woman walks by, and I say to her, the words that I chose, because I knew that she'd probably say, I can't help you. The words I chose were, hey, could you help me find somebody, or could you get somebody to get a game out for us?
Yeah.
And she goes, I can't help you with that, but just go talk to him, and points to the guy that's already... I'm like, this dude is already... He's already doing something. He's fucking checking somebody out, but he's also doing the fucking shit with the phones. So this man takes fucking forever because of... He doesn't shut the fuck up anyway. And then by the time we get him, he goes, and I'm like, yeah, I was trying to get out Crash 4. I was like, oh, we have that? And I'm like, I guess you do. And then he grabs it, and he starts reading the box, and he's like, oh, a time travel adventure. And he's walking, and he's reading the back of the box out loud. And I'm just like, okay. And then and then he gets to the checkout counter. He's like, they have no necks. And I'm like, he's
no neck, sir.
He's like, their mouth just starts right where their neck is. They have no necks.
Crash.
He's
looking at the box.
He's looking at the box. Yeah. And he's they have no necks. He says, and he's like, and then he's like, okay, go ahead and put it in your card. I'm like, okay. He's like, ooh, it says E10 plus. Oh, so everyone, but you have to be 10 plus. I don't know about that, because I've seen my son. He's a little bit younger than that, and I feel like he might be able to handle a game like this. And the whole time I'm just like, let me just fucking leave this fucking.
Let me leave Walmart.
Let me leave this fucking white trash purgatory.
Don't hold me hostage.
Let me leave Walmart. This is why Walmart's always the last resort, because it's always train wreck after train wreck. It started with the fucking soap.
But at least you have stories.
Yeah. So that's our Minisode story.
That's your you left the house this week story.
Yeah. And
you always have them.
We always have them.
Somehow we're always getting yelled at too.
I don't get I didn't why are you fucking being so shitty to me? And the thing is, when I tell Sam about the story, later on, she's like, she's like, oh, was that the woman? And I'm like, oh no, it's actually this woman right here. We walked right by her, and she's like, yeah, that looks about right. the way she looked,
You look the type.
yeah, the way she looked, Sam just like cued in on like the type of human being this woman was. And then, like, you know, we walk by, and, like, that woman is talking to another woman who's talking to a dude, and they're like, hey, can you go get Steve? We found this box, and there's some writing on it, and I don't know what it means. And I'm like, and the whole time, I'm like, how confusing can this possibly be? You're unpacking boxes. Like, it makes me think, like oh, I found this ancient Nordic runes, you know, like, there's these symbols, and I can't read them. I don't read Latin.
It's a sarcophagus straight out of Egypt.
Where's Steve? He reads them hieroglyphics. Where he at? Like, God. So
that was us going to Walmart.
That's us going to Walmart.
Well, welcome to Minisode Monday, guys. With Sam, Sushie, and AJ.
Yeah.
So we're back. Yeah, we're here.
We're back.
Sushie, what kind of stories you got for us today?
God, I don't even know.
Please tell me one's Walmart.
I don't know how to top that. That story is definitely better than the stories I have. So thank you for outshining me, AJ.
Just our everyday life.
Might be a disappointment. Oh my gosh. Do you have any other outside stories? I haven't gone outside. I've just been angry in my room trying to fix my PC.
We probably we'll have to.
Yeah.
I'm sure we got.
I'm sure there's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Literally, when we were sitting there with our hands in the car, like looking at ourselves, like what have we done? I literally said to her, I was like, "This would be a good story for the podcast."
Yeah. So, but what did you do with the soap on your hands? Like, what did you do?
We literally just tried to get it off as best we could with the paper towels, but then like we used the hand sanitizer because at least that has like alcohol in it, you know.
Yeah.
So like, and honestly, by the time we got home, like my hands weren't really sticky, but they were like very slippery. So like we have like our iced coffees.
Yeah.
And like I'm like fucking like holding like a fucking like trying to get the iced coffee to like grip it, but it's like one of those fucking like little tubes of liquid that you can't hold on to, you know, and like we get inside I have to wash my hands again because it's a whole ordeal.
This is why I don't drive because there's someone out there that has soap on their hands on the wheel. Yeah.
So she can't hold on to the wheel because there's too much soap.
There's soap on the fucking handle.
I love how she already like perfectly put her hands above her head too.
Yeah, I already know. Oh, I can't see over the dad. I need like a fucking baby seat.
Oh no. Oh God!
They should make high chairs for adults.
I do. You know, I feel bad when I drive. I feel bad for AJ afterwards because I have to scoot the seat all the way up. So when he gets in, he's all like
fucking knees on my chin.
He's perfectly hitting the brake.
I would need 3 phone books.
Oh my God.
Fucking toddler baby gate thing. Like a high chair.
That's how I learned how to drive. With a phone book.
All right, Sushie. Show us your asshole.
All right.
Yeah, so tell us about your asshole.
Okay, I will. Am I the asshole for giving my son a bill for half of his expenses? My son, 17, asked me for a new gaming system, and I said no because he already has plenty of gaming systems and games and doesn't need more. Lies, lady. If he wants one, he can save up and buy one. He then comes to me with a budget and how we can, quote unquote, afford this system. It was mostly just that if I buy nothing for myself for 2 months, we'll have enough for the system. I told him, hell no, it's offensive, and if he wants a system, he has to save up for it. Then he comes back with another budget. He and his father calculated how much I've been paid in child support over the years, and they decided it would be a good idea to let me know how little a drop in the bucket the gaming system would be. I told him I spend that on his expenses every month, but he didn't believe me. So I told him that if he doesn't think so, he can pay me for his expenses every month, and I'll give him the child support. Surprise, surprise. When I gave him the bill, it showed that when you factor in all the things I pay for in a month, it's much more than child support. Child support doesn't even cover 30%. Now my ex is yelling at me for making our son feel like an expensive burden, but I think I was teaching him a lesson about money and unteaching him some of what my ex says about support. Am I the asshole for giving him a bill? It's decided that not the asshole, and there's an edit. It says, not able to comment, but just wanted to say this isn't a question of being able to afford the console. I can afford it, but that doesn't mean he should just get it. So the verdict is not the asshole. Let's see what some of the comments.
Okay, so like, this went so many different ways for me.
Yeah.
So off the title, I was expecting it to be something like, okay, pay half the rent, pay half the electric, like that's what I was just expecting. I didn't expect it was like, oh, I want something, and the parents like.
So if this had like literally left out the X, and you know, it would have been like, oh man, that's really dirty. But this was literally the X going, oh, that's a drop in the bucket for like how much I give in child support. And
I give you like $200 a month, lady.
Yeah, and she's like, no, that child support goes to pay for raising you and housing you and feeding you, and it doesn't even fucking pay for all the shit that I have to do to keep you alive. Right. So...
Right. So one of the comments says, not the asshole at all here. The son probably went to the dad asking for the system, and his response was, isn't that what I paid child support for?
Yeah.
And no, that's not what you paid child support for. And that's when the whole game the system is just a drop in the bucket conversation started. The father stuck his nose where it didn't belong and got bent out of shape when Opie slammed the door shut on it.
Yeah.
Mad? You mad? You sound mad.
Yeah, that's exactly what sounds like what happened. God, I really did expect this to go a whole different route.
Yeah, I was expecting a different route entirely.
Yeah.
So so are we?
I don't think she's the asshole at all. She literally just
she's
proved,
trying to teach him like life lessons.
She literally just proved a point, which was you can't actually see what's
what the money's going
to until I lay it out for you, and we've talked about that before. My mom taking my dad to the grocery store and going, we don't spend too much money. Look at all the things I have to buy you that you ask for to be in the house. So
organic bananas cost a lot.
Exactly. This food costs a lot to feed you every month, and that child support, whatever he's getting or whatever she's getting, is not always what it should be.
The cost of happily staying outside of a Walmart costs extra.
Yes, it does.
Right.
It does.
But also, I think it's important to like teach kids that you can't, even if you can afford it, that wasn't the issue. It was that you can't just get everything for nothing.
Exactly.
So she was just trying to like not raise a bratty kid.
Exactly. And I think she did well by him because, of course she can afford it. But if she affords that, what is going to go, are we going to have to go without fucking buying bread and eggs now? Like next week because I bought you this fucking console?
Right. Like, what is the occasion? Is it his birthday? Is it a holiday?
Yeah.
If there's a reason, did he graduate? Like, was there a reason for this, like, kind of expensive gift? If not, you have to work for it.
Exactly.
And I think that's fair.
Especially for a 16-year-old.
Literally, when I wanted something as a kid, my mom would usually make me go out and, like, clean the white walls of her car. Like, so I'm literally there with, like, and if you never, like, if modern day cars don't really have fucking white walls on them, that's like an older car thing anyway. But like it was literally just like literally a fucking white ring on the tire that gets really fucking dirty.
Yep.
So like you're out there with just a fucking basically steel wool or a really hard brush, just fucking scrubbing away.
Yep.
And like that's what I had to do. Like, that's how I got my fucking, like, Brave Fencer Musashi and shit. Was like, I wanted a game. Mom's like, well, my white walls need clean. Like, it was...
I think that's fair, though.
And I would do it, like, it's like, okay, like, cool, like... And so I would do the things that my parents would want me to do. Or, like, for dad is... I mean, we had to mow the fucking grass anyway. But, like, I'd try to use that against him. Like, I mowed the grass. Well, yeah, you have to do that anyway. So,
part of the deal. Living here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't think there's anything wrong with that kind of stuff to show a kid like, hey,
Just wait till he has to get a fucking job.
Exactly. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
and even if it's like, maybe you don't need your son to get a job because that's a commitment, right?
Yeah.
And that takes away from like school or like, maybe he's in sports or whatever. But like working around the house, cleaning, cooking, whatever it is that is your home dynamic, it's still work and it shows appreciation for things that you're obtaining. So if it's not like you didn't get this extravagant gift because of something like a holiday, a graduation, whatever, like you need to earn it. Somehow.
Yeah.
So they may not be like a job, like working at McDonald's or something, because I understand some parents are like, no, school is your job. You don't get a job. I get, some people are like that. But you still have to, like AJ, wash the white walls.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, and I mean, like, just based off of like my own past experience too, like, just because you like did some chores as a kid, like you can just still grow up to be a fucking idiot, you know? Like my first job, like, it was my first time getting like paychecks and getting money. And what the fuck did I do? I was like, I plan on moving. So I was going to like move out to Pennsylvania at the time from Ohio with a friend of mine. But before I moved, like instead of like saving that money, I went out and fucking bought a laptop, you know, like, and it's just stupid shit where like, why the fuck did I do that? Because I was fucking like 19 years old, you know?
Yeah.
And at the time it was like, that's the first time I ever had like residual income, but didn't think about the fact that, I'm going to be moving and I don't have a job now. So like, I don't have that coming in, you know, like it's just stupid shit. So like later on when I moved back, like, you know, I got another job and my dad did a thing where he's like, hey, every fucking paycheck you get since you're living here, give me $100. And I thought he was just taking it for rent, but it turned out he was literally just taking that $100 and putting it away. And then when I needed to buy like a new car, he had all that money that was my money. He was like, hey, because otherwise he's like, you're a fucking idiot, you know, like,
you're a fucking dumb kid. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, you know, and then, but so it was like, and I'm all for that. Like, you know, like I think it's a little weird when parents like charge rent and shit like that. But like for that, it was like he took $100, but he was really just holding on to it to make sure I didn't fucking ruin it and spend it somewhere else. And he literally,
you would have.
Yeah,
exactly. Because I would have, because I was a fucking stupid kid, you know, and that's what kids do. So like, you need to have those lessons in place, and you need to have parents that are willing to do that stuff for you, like to actually help you and not just give you everything and okay, like fucking do whatever the fuck you want, walk all over me, kid. Like, yeah. So definitely not the asshole. Like,
no, and the dad like trying to be the cool guy. Ugh.
Yeah.
well,
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Yeah.
what we got for relationships?
For relationships, I have, this one's kind of interesting. I, 25 female, am engaged and not sure if I should have one of my oldest quote unquote friends as my bridesmaids. This is non-romantic.
Oh, okay.
Hello, all. I guess I'll just start with the context. I met my friend Laura in high school when we were 15. We were best friends until I had a boyfriend who totally absorbed me, and I ended up losing most of my friends because I would only hang out with him. Let me say, I know I was in the wrong, and I caused Laura a lot of pain because she was going through a rough patch while I was prioritizing my relationship with this guy. Needless to say, we drifted apart hard. We kept talking maybe once every couple of months, and we didn't really hang out face to face anymore. Eventually, I broke up with him when I was 21, and I realized I was out of friends. I reached out to Laura because I was lonely. I know it was shitty, and we hung out once. It was super awkward, and I distanced myself again, thinking since I didn't know how to mend things, I would just leave her alone. She'd moved on, had a really nice group of friends and everything, so I figured she was better off without a shitty friend like me. I didn't say any of this to her. Fast forward some years, we interact sometimes on Facebook like acquaintances. I reached out and invited her to hang out, and again, it was very awkward. I just didn't know what to talk about with her. I tried to keep making plans with her, but she started making excuses last minute, so every time I had plans out, my current boyfriend would encourage me to invite her, and I was just too anxious about it being rejected again, so I didn't. Okay, so whenever she did hang out, her boyfriend told her to invite this person, and she just didn't.
Yeah.
I sometimes texted her just to chat, and she sometimes didn't even reply, or if she did, it looked like I was pulling the entire conversation. She took any chance to stop replying, and she never started a conversation with me. We always said we'd be each other's bridesmaid when we were close, and even when we drifted apart, both of us would sometimes mention this. Now I'm engaged. I haven't started preparation since our date is set to November 2021, and I haven't been able to look into stuff because of lockdown. I still don't have many friends. I must say, since finding out I'm on the spectrum July, a lot of things started making sense to me, and I've learned through therapy a few social skills to hopefully be a better friend. Of course, since we're in a pandemic, I haven't been able to meet new people and probably won't for some time. Anyway, I got engaged in March, and I told Laura about it before making a big announcement on social media. She was excited for me and told me she couldn't wait to be my bridesmaid. It took me by surprise, and I didn't put much thought into it since we'd always talked about it. So I just said yes. I've noticed that recently the only interaction we have was over Twitter. I deleted my Twitter account because I was sick of my feed about 2 months ago, and we haven't talked since. I've been thinking about a relationship, and I don't think I'll be comfortable with her in my bridal party. I don't know what to do. I already gave her the impression that she was going to be my bridesmaid, but now I'm thinking I only want my cousin and male friend to be in my bridal party. Would it be wrong for me not to make her my bridesmaid? How should I tell her? I know I've been a really shitty friend, and I'm just embarrassed around her. I don't even want to try anymore. I know that letting her believe she was going to be my bridesmaid was also shitty and a huge mistake, and letting her down now will be the cherry on top of my shit cake. TLDR, I was a shitty friend to Laura, who I've known for 10 years, but now we're drifted apart, and it's very awkward now. She expects to be a bridesmaid, and I let her believe she was, but now I'm not comfortable with the idea. What do I do?
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
So this may sound harsh, but this sounds like the stupidest fucking thing.
This is a stupid thing, and sometimes friends just
I mean,
especially in this age.
Yeah, like now, did she say the age? Because I don't remember the.
She's 25.
She's 25. Okay.
She's 25, and they became friends when they were 15. So they've been quote unquote friends for 10 years, but not really.
But they're not. But
they
yeah,
were
but
probably
they're not
friends
close.
for 2 years.
Yeah.
But they're not close anymore at all. And the
Right.
fact that she's having to pull teeth to get this woman to either hang out with her or even speak to her. And then
Right.
she expects to be the
Right.
bridesmaid because of a pact they made 10 years ago is fucking stupid.
Like, first of all, the whole idea of making a pact to be a bridesmaid and all that shit, and like, you better make, like, holding me accountable, all this bullshit. Who fucking cares? It's not your wedding to begin with. Like, just the idea of like forcing yourself into somebody else's like wedding is stupid. But two, like, yeah, if you have a friend and you're the only one doing any of the work, then they're not your friend.
You don't have a friend.
That's why, like, you know, maybe it's a tangent, but I see a lot of things on social media, on Twitter and shit. And I've seen it for years, and it always drives me crazy when I see this shit. It's always like somebody will post a shitty meme, and it'll be something like, "Oh man, thanks for all of you that stick around even though I don't talk to any of you, or I know I'm a shitty friend. I'm so lovable and adorable." And I'm like, no, you're not a friend, though. You're a piece of shit. Like, I'm sorry. That's like the whole idea that, like, if you don't talk to somebody, then you're not friends with somebody. Like, those types of people, they want all of the benefits of being somebody's friend
without
any of the fucking work. And, like, it's like this weird thing that, like, kind of way, like, nerd culture kind of, like, lets it slide, and it's just like, oh, that's
I'm just an asshole.
Yeah. Either I'm just an asshole, or man, I'm so socially inept, but isn't that funny? Like, oh God,
it's so
like the
cute.
people who, it's so cute that I'm depressed and anxious. Like, it's not fucking, none of that shit is cute.
Right.
Like, none of that, these are actual problems, and you have bad social skills, and you have no fucking tact. Like,
right.
And people eat that shit up. And that's what this kind of sounds like, where it's like, oh, we only interacted on Twitter, or like I talked to her, but she never reached out and talked to me.
Right.
That's not a fucking friend.
If you deleted your Twitter account 2 months ago and you haven't spoken since, you're not friends.
Yeah.
Not at all.
She literally talked about how they used to text each other. Okay, so she has your phone number, so she can reach out.
Yes.
Then she's not your friend because she hasn't.
Yeah, like
correct.
The big difference is, you know, you can go, like, you can have people that you are friends with, and you cannot talk for like 6 to 8 months. That's actually a normal thing that can happen. But it's only normal if neither one of you are talking. So, and that's not, it's not like, oh, like you're both so busy with your life.
If you're just like texting and not getting a response back, that's not the same thing.
Yeah. So like, I have my friends that like live on the other side of the country or whatever. We're in different time zones or whatever. We are still close friends. But if I texted them right now, they'll text me back, or if they text me, I'll text them back. But like, we're still living our own lives. So we don't really have the time to just interact and mingle anymore. But if you're the one putting in that effort and you text them and then 3 days later they get back to you, like, then it's a fucking it's a phone. They have it on them. They saw it, like there's always an excuse. Yeah. I don't know. I'm personally always kind of annoyed by this like half-sided friendship shit. And like, I feel like all of us, anybody listening, you can really think like, how many friends do you really have? All of the people you follow on Twitter.
How many good friends do you have?
Yeah, like you don't have that many. Like just because you're friends on social media or you follow each other or whatever, that's not fucking a friend. Friends. Yeah. Like, so with this problem this girl has, I don't view it as a fucking problem. Like, because if you're not friends, then why do you give a shit if you're like now? She did say she's on the spectrum, so I do understand it could be a little bit harder for her to just like kind of cut ties and
express her feelings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So with that, I do understand that. So like maybe it is a little bit harder for her to just like cut ties and go because for whatever reason, I don't know how where she's at or how far or whatever the fuck it is. But like that is a thing to take into account. But you just cut ties. Who cares? This it's your wedding. You can do what you want. And that's to any fucking person getting married. It's your wedding. You can literally do what you want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't. She should definitely not feel bad about. Okay, I don't feel comfortable with her being in my bridal party anymore. I would like my cousin. I would like my male friend. Blah blah blah. Honestly, I don't think she owes her any kind of explanation, honestly.
Yeah, that's it. I just want my family in it. And I'm sorry that we made this pact when I was 16. But I'm just going to have family in my bridal party.
I really don't think she owes her an explanation. This doesn't even sound like a friend you would invite to your wedding.
I was just about to say that. It doesn't even sound like she is warranted an invite, let alone being in the party.
Yeah.
And honestly, if she deleted her social media, you could do the wedding and she's not even going to fucking know it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And if she ever does get a hold of you, be like, oh yeah, we got married like 3 years ago. What are you talking about? That should be done.
That does sound like, this is the type of friend she is too.
And it was a shitty thing to be absorbed in a relationship and ignore your friends. We've all had that friend. It's annoying. But, and that's wrong. But she acknowledges it and tried to reach out. And people just grow apart. It just is what it is. Yeah. I'm not friends with anyone that I was friends with when I was 15. I'm not that person.
Yeah.
Granted, that was 20 years ago, but
yeah. I mean, you know how many friends I like when we're fucking teenagers, you're all like, oh yeah, we're all gonna like live close to each other. We're all gonna have like that's fucking everybody says that when they're fucking 15. Yeah. Like we're gonna be best friends for life.
Yeah.
And then
life. Like I don't want to be
2 years
friends
later,
with
like
the guy I was like smoking weed with when I was 14 in the back of a 7-Eleven. Like, I don't want to be friends with you.
Yeah.
Because he's still back in the back of that 7-Eleven.
He's still back behind that 7-Eleven. And I'm like,
Or he's working there now.
Right. Like, why would you be friends with who you were friends with when you were 15 years old? Like, oh my God.
I have to side with AJ on this one. This seems like such a non-issue to me that I feel like, in all honesty, she could literally just not even say anything to this person, and it probably wouldn't even fucking matter. It probably wouldn't even matter.
I honestly think that, part of the reason that she sees it as an issue is probably just overanalyzing it from like being on the spectrum.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that plays a big part into account, or a big part of it is just that kind of like, because, especially because like, I have a few friends who have found out they're on the spectrum or whatever, or at whatever point in time. And afterwards, a lot of times they will kind of question themselves a little bit more. Like, was this something that was okay? And like, yeah, who fucking cares, But I get why they question themselves. So I can understand like questioning herself. Like, is this okay to just fucking cut and ties and go? Yeah, it's fine. Like,
yeah.
So,
right. Yeah. I think also possibly another reason is because she has known her for so long. It is a little, awkward to be like, okay, I've known this person for 10 years. I've known them, not maybe as a close friend, but I've known them. Is it okay to just completely, give up on this in all of its entirety? But after all of these years of her trying to reach out and just getting nothing in return, I think it's okay.
And to make this situation better, if she really, really, really wanted to like be friends with this person again, which clearly she doesn't, they would both need a serious sit down and be like, we need to like spill our guts to each other. And neither one of them are doing that. Like, I'm not saying you can't mend fences with friends.
Yes.
It's possible. But it's just like any other relationship. You both need to like have a heart to heart about like what was the communication breakdown in that particular situation. Yeah. And they both don't want to do that. So there's no mending fences.
There's
here.
no reason for it. Yeah. There's no reason for it.
And I think
it's like not an issue.
Yeah. I think that's something a lot of people in general don't really think about or take into account is that like you literally can have like breakups with your friends. You know,
Absolutely.
like,
and they're heartbreaking. For sure.
And it's literally, it can be just as bad as your fucking relationship.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the thing is like you do need to, if you want to keep a friendship, you do need to have those sit downs and those like hash it out. Yeah. You know, you have to you literally have to let yourself be fucking vulnerable. You have to like, you know, get rid of your fucking pride, which is a big part of so many people's issues with everything. Yeah, your ego. And you have to fucking, you have to sit there and talk. And that's if you care enough, you will do that. And if you don't, you won't. But you also shouldn't feel bad or guilty if you know, don't want to have, if you don't want to be friends with somebody, then you don't want to be friends with somebody. Like, that's fine. Also,
and it's okay to move on.
It is. It's okay to move on from people who don't take the initiative to reach out to you.
Or tell you what was bothering them, or answer a text back, you know?
Yeah.
Just going to say this right now.
Answer.
There is literally a leaf blower directly outside our door.
Ooh, okay. Well, you know,
so,
it is what it is.
Apologies to everybody
Life happens. Life happens.
Thanks, fucking. They come at the worst times. Everywhere else in the country, like people always talking about, like, oh yeah, the fucking lawn care. They're here at 7 a.m, and that's annoying. It's like, no, you know what's annoying is when they come at fucking 1:41 in the afternoon.
Yeah, and you think you're good for the day. You're like, all right.
Like,
made it.
You should have to like wait till the afternoon and then wait longer because they just now got. What are you doing? What are you on my fucking front porch with a leaf blower? There's no trees. It's a covered front porch. There's nothing there.
They're blowing the ghosts away. They're doing you a favor.
The demons.
You know, blow the fucking neighbors away. So, that being said, well, I guess we'll wrap it up here because they're fucking.
We're literally right outside the window.
Okay,
but
perfect time.
Make sure if you guys, are listening, obviously come back Wednesday for our full episode, but it's going to be a special episode. You know, instead of doing the stories we typically do, we're going to do some Halloween festive stuff. They're going to be spooky stories, or at least, you know, there'll be something.
It'll be something.
Good promotion.
Good promotion.
We're doing a great job.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter at ESH Podcast. And then send us any stories you guys have, whether they're spooky stories or am I the asshole of a relationship, whatever the fuck you want. Just if they're not your stories, send them. If they're Walmart stories, send them at contact@everyonesuckshere.com.
Please send me your Walmart stories.
Oh my God. Eavesdrop on every conversation. I want to know.
Yes.
I need to hear stories to just know that we're not the only ones that are fucked up.
Yes.
contact@everyonesuckshere.com.
Okay, well, we will see you guys Wednesday.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.